So the retention of practice members is a perennial pain for many chiropractors. And this may be the case for you. Those people that come to see you with a problem, they come with the thing, that they want cured. It could be here, it could be there, it could be over here. It's something that they want you to sort out and fix for them. And they leave when that thing is fixed. Now, they'll also leave when it's not fixed. And so half the time you don't even know whether it's been fixed or not fixed in their language. And it's frustrating. It's something that causes chiropractors so much angst. And what happens is then we have to go out and prime the pumps and do more promoting to get more new people come in to fill the place of the people who've left, and the cycle continues. So firstly, let me get really clear here on something that is a massive violation of my rules in this particular context, and that is the use of this word retention. So I did it for a long time because retention was the word that we used, and many chiropractors use them, and I used to use it. And it was like, well, of course, you want to hold back, you want to hold the people there. You don't want them to leave, you want them to stay, and there's a high intent for that. It's not like a sleazy thing. It's like, no, I want to be able to lovingly serve these people. But when I really started looking at it and looking at the definitions of retention, I thought, well, that's not a really good word. And realizing that our words create our reality, then I thought, well, retention is like to restrain, to hold back, and it's about force. It's about actually struggling to hold on to. And it's really, you think of a dam wall, or think of retention of fluid in the body, or any other nomination that has to do with retention. It's to restrain, it's to hold back. And I had to wash my mouth out with soap and water and look at this in a whole different way. That in Quest, what we stand for is informed consent, and that's not about retention. We stand for choice, and that's not about retention. We stand for attraction, and constantly maintaining ourselves in an attractive state. And that's not about retention. So let's just look at this one from a different position there. So look, how can we make our practice more attractive to people? So they want to stay, they want to pay, they want to refer their friends, and they're there for maybe a lifetime. So join us as we look at the what I would consider to be the 4 I's that increase attraction in your practice. So there's a specific method to work with every single person, or parts of every single person. And I'll explain more about that as we go through this. But a client comes to mind. Her name is Julie, and she was pretty nerdy, and she loved detail. And she's a great chiropractor, incredible and perfect in technique. I mean, just like absolutely passionate about it, and looked after every little detail of her technical acumen. And she gave 1 hour long reports. She did the paperwork down to the nth degree. She always supplied people with research details and articles and endless explanations, and had 15-minute consults where she told the patients everything they needed to know, and everything they had to do, and the exercises and the advice. And it was like, wow, really, really thorough. But her practice members didn't follow through. She had a PVA of like 7, and she was frustrated and ready to quit. She came to us for coaching, and so we skilled her on these 4 I's. And let's just dive into these, and you'll get an idea of the ease and the simplicity of this. The effectiveness of this is massive. The first thing, and we're modeling this on a brain model, so which is what we do all of our coaching. Our businesses are organized this way, the practices are organized this way, that there are 4 components of the brain. The first component is right frontal cortex. Second component is left posterior brain. Right posterior brain follows that, and then left frontal follows that. And there's a certain order that information passes within our brain that is repeated over and over again in no matter what context you want to look at. So that's the basis of the innate model, and it's a model that is exquisite when it comes to educating people, informing people, and moving people. So I want to have a look here at this first quadrant, which is inspire. So when a person comes in to see you, and you can give them a forward projection here, you can paint a picture for them. This is a visual area, and paint a picture of how they can be. This is based on where they want to go. This is based on their outcomes, their direction, finding out what it is above the thing, beyond the thing that they're after. What is it that they can't do that stops them, that would allow them, if it was cleared, to do their life at a far higher level. And so they can get inspired by that. Now they may be inspired by stories. They may be inspired by analogies. And in these, maybe metaphors. And in these, you don't have a lot of content. This part of the brain doesn't like to be bogged down with content. This part of the brain loves to just have a picture that it can attach to. It'll put in its own colors and its own animation and everything, and its own expression. But it's a part of the brain that just likes to look out into the possibilities of what could be. And with every person that comes in to see us, they have dreams. They have things that they would love to be doing and have into the future. So this is the inspire part. So when we touch on that part, now even if that person doesn't have that as their primary processing area, it's still an area that we all have, and it's an area that does create inspiration for us. So that's the first area. The second area then is the inform part. Now, in my story of Julie, that was what she would do only. She was solely about informing. And likewise, if you get a person who's solely about inspiration without any information, it also becomes quite hollow. So they work together. They flow from one to the other. So the second part here is inform. And this is looking back into the past, looking at the research, looking at the data, looking at the process, the systems, the understanding, the awareness of what is, the tabulated information that's available as far as this particular thing's concerned, and what this thing does. I'm referring to a thing as maybe the problem that the person has or the complaint that they have, and so that they do become informed. This is imbalance to the inspire. And it's each of these come in small little doses along the way. You see, we're doing a drip feed system here. It's like when you have a pot plant in your practice, and it might need, say, 10 litres of water for the year. You don't go and put the 10 litres in on day one and then expect it to last it for a year. It'll be absolutely dehydrated within a very short period of time, because it's got all its water at once. It went all over the floor, and it doesn't need it all that time. It needs it over time. So this process then is about drip feeding. It's a process of just a little bit at a time, allowing the person to assimilate it. So a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of information that goes with that. And then we have the great opportunity as chiropractors to investigate people. Now, investigation is where we get to have our hands on them and to demonstrate. So this is demonstrations. This is examples. This is third party as well. It's a very social area here. So third party examples as well. That links in with inspire, because stories and metaphors and analogies can be linked with certain case studies or similar type experiences for people. So investigation is where we have our hands on someone, we can demonstrate to them, we can go through, show strong muscles, weak muscles, and neurotypes and all sorts of different distinctions at a very, very fine level to allow a person to get a greater understanding then of what it is that you're doing. And that's linked in then to the inspire, which is like why we're doing what we're doing. It's linked into the content of the information, and then it comes through into this investigation, which is the expression of it. So that's the third area. And then we can touch bases with a person in their initiate area. Now, initiate is where we can go into action and we can reinvent. So reinvention is where we can take something that has been and make it something different, or something that is and make it different. So in other words, the person has a low back pain, and when we take that and we give them the inspiration or we inspire them to the point that they can actually start to do something, or they could be able to start to do something into the future with by being free of that back pain, and therefore that would certainly justify the care that you're planning for them. But at the same time, they understand a little bit about nerve pathways and a little bit about brain spine nerve system and its relationship to the organs, maybe. And then the investigation starts to show up, the cross correlations between the pain, the lack of motion, the nervous involvement with that, the organ system that's maybe involved with it, and so forth. And that then allows them to start to reinvent themselves. Well, this means that if this is affecting my bowel, then that would explain why I get constipated all the time. You know? And so that person then is starting to reinvent what chiropractic means to them, what can happen as a result of this. They start to initiate it. They start to look at what else is available. What if I did this? What if I did that? And so these then start to open up a whole bunch of possibilities. Well, my child has colic. Is that any relationship here? So they'll start to ask questions that are a far higher quality question than just about my child doesn't have back pain, therefore they wouldn't need to have chiropractic care. But as we start to fill in this picture for a person, and this is drip feed, remember, over time, it's not an overnight thing, but as they start to do that, then they start to generate their own questions and they start to actually create their own inspiration. They become inspired by what's going on. And so that increases their likelihood and their desire for more. They want to come in more. They want more care because they realize that they're affecting their whole body. They're not just affecting a part. So it's very different for the reason they came in to see us in the first place. So with Julie, her practice went from strength to strength. Her PVA is now over 30, and the main thing though is her satisfaction levels are through the roof. And she now knows that she can follow through with people. She can plan care better because she knows that there's going to be follow through because people are more involved, they're more enrolled, and she can then therefore give them the results that she knows and she's always known are possible, but because of the lack of contact with people, she wasn't able to deliver on those results to the best level possible. So, her excellence and her knowledge, her technical ability, then get a chance to shine. And that then starts to allow the chiropractor to replicate themselves in a better way. That allows the chiropractor to then attract others in who want to do more of the same. That both practice members and associates and team members. The team members start to see better results. So there's a magnifying effect of this, which is quite profound. So there's simple things. The 4 eyes are just simple little things that we do with our people every single visit. And we gradually expand their understanding of what they are and what their body does and what their integrated wholeness is relative to what we're doing within chiropractic and how that affects it. So it's really, really cool. It's so simple, so easy. But if you'd like to service more people and if you'd like to see your PVA increase and get better results, then just private message me and we can have a chat and see if there's any way that we can help you with this.